Right now, the nation is watching an unprecedented series of events involving Donald Trump. Social media platforms are flooded with clips, screenshots, and dramatic posts claiming that Trump is spiraling out of control, that federal agencies are being used to settle personal scores, and that the 25th Amendment might need to be considered. But it's important to slow down, separate fact from speculation, and look at what is really happening. Over the past few days, Trump has been highly active on social media, posting hundreds of messages in a single day. Many of these posts are bold, accusatory, and often unverified. He has accused political opponents of wrongdoing, suggested that international interference occurred in the 2020 election, and claimed that intelligence agencies like the CIA and FBI engaged in actions to manipulate the election outcome. While these posts have gone viral, context is essential. Social media thrives on emotion and sensationalism, which makes it easy for extreme claims to spread faster than facts. Observing Trump's behavior online, it is clear he is responding to political and legal pressure in his usual confrontational manner. This style is not new. He has long communicated forcefully, often bypassing traditional media filters. One major event that drew attention is the FBI's execution of court authorized actions at the Fulton County Election Office in Georgia. Federal agents collected ballots related to the 2020 election, an action Trump has repeatedly demanded to justify claims of election fraud. The Fulton County officials stated that ballots were secure prior to the raid, and the FBI confirmed they were conducting a legal court approved operation. This underscores that, regardless of Trump's posts, law enforcement is operating within legal boundaries. Trump's social media activity on this day included accusations of treason against former President Obama, claims of election theft involving China and intelligence agencies, and allegations of domestic terrorism by specific individuals. While these posts grabbed headlines, they are primarily opinions and allegations, not verified facts. It is crucial for viewers to distinguish between statements made online and judicially verified events. Another significant issue has been Trump's involvement with ICE operations and the handling of migrants. In Minnesota and other states, aggressive immigration enforcement has led to public backlash. Videos from Minneapolis and other locations show heightened activity, sometimes escalating tensions with local communities. Trump has framed these actions as necessary for law enforcement and national security, but critics argue that the approach is excessively harsh and risks targeting people unfairly. The consequences of these operations extend beyond immediate enforcement. Public opinion shows that controversial immigration tactics have eroded Trump's support among minority communities, particularly Latino and Somali populations. Polling indicates a significant drop in approval among Latinos, with many citing immigration enforcement as the primary driver. This erosion of support could impact future elections, including midterms, highlighting the political risk of aggressive enforcement strategies. Meanwhile, Trump's approach to political allies and opponents continues to draw attention. He has publicly criticized governors, law enforcement officials, and local leaders, while simultaneously praising supportive figures in his circle. These mixed messages contribute to the perception of unpredictability and intensify media coverage. Social media amplifies every statement, often removing nuance, which can make routine political maneuvers appear chaotic or irrational. Legal experts point out that while Trump's social media activity may seem alarming, it does not constitute illegal behavior on its own. Statements made online, even if controversial, are generally protected under the First Amendment, unless they directly incite violence or break specific laws. In parallel, all federal actions, including the FBI's handling of ballots, remain subject to judicial oversight, ensuring accountability within legal frameworks. The situation also raises questions about public perception versus reality. Social media users may interpret multiple posts in a short span as evidence of instability or crisis. However, historical patterns show that Trump routinely posts in bursts, often reacting to ongoing news or criticism. What appears as a meltdown may simply be a continuation of his established communication style, albeit amplified by online platforms. In addition to domestic events, Trump's statements about foreign influence and alleged criminal networks have drawn scrutiny. Comments regarding Russian involvement, organized crime, or international actors are highly sensitive and often provoke strong reactions. Fact checkers emphasize that these claims require verification and context. While Trump's allegations are serious, they remain claims until supported by credible evidence and investigation. Criticism of Trump's rhetoric and tactics has come from multiple quarters. Lawmakers, legal experts, and community leaders have expressed concern about inflammatory language, threats of investigation, and targeting of specific groups. The response highlights a broader tension between executive authority, public accountability, and civic trust. Citizens are left navigating a complex landscape of claims, evidence, and social media interpretation. The impact on communities is real. In Minnesota, the aggressive immigration enforcement strategy has stirred fear among immigrant populations, raising ethical and legal concerns. Local officials have emphasized the importance of protecting human rights while maintaining law enforcement. The tension underscores the need for balanced approaches that respect both security and civil liberties. Trump's political positioning also reflects a broader strategy. By amplifying claims of fraud, focusing on high profile operations, and directing attention toward perceived enemies, he reinforces support among his base. At the same time, these actions contribute to national controversy, drawing media coverage, public debate, and social media attention. This dual effect fuels both loyalty and criticism. Public opinion polls reveal how these dynamics play out. Approval ratings among Latino voters have declined sharply, reflecting concerns over deportation policies. Broader public sentiment shows mixed responses. Some citizens support firm law enforcement measures, while others perceive overreach or unethical conduct. Understanding these polls is essential for interpreting the potential political consequences of ongoing actions. The legal and ethical frameworks surrounding Trump's behavior are also significant. Court-authorized searches, enforcement actions, and political statements must all be evaluated within constitutional and statutory boundaries. While his social media activity may be provocative, accountability mechanisms remain in place through the judiciary, oversight committees, and established law enforcement procedures. It is also critical to address media coverage. Social media platforms and news outlets often emphasize sensational aspects of Trump's activity. Words like meltdown, psychotic, or deranged generate engagement, but they can distort perception. Responsible coverage requires separating inflammatory language from verified events and evidence, enabling viewers to form informed judgments. At the core of these events is a lesson about political narrative. In the digital age, statements made online, enforcement operations, and high-profile claims become intertwined with public perception. Political reality is shaped not just by facts, but by how they are communicated, interpreted, and amplified. This interplay affects trust in institutions, civic engagement, and democratic processes. Trump's focus on high-profile supporters, celebrity interactions, and public ceremonies also contributes to the narrative. These events, while symbolic, reinforce loyalty and visibility. They also draw criticism for prioritizing personal connections over policy or governance, reflecting the blend of personality and politics characteristic of his approach. Another dimension is the relationship between executive authority and state governments. Comments comparing operations in Minnesota to interventions in foreign nations like Venezuela have raised eyebrows. Such comparisons illustrate the framing of domestic actions in international terms, heightening both media scrutiny and public concern. Throughout these developments, the principle of accountability remains central. Federal and local authorities, courts, and oversight mechanisms ensure that actions, whether social media posts or law enforcement operations, adhere to legal and ethical standards. Public monitoring, reporting, and civic engagement are vital in maintaining transparency and trust. In summary, the last several days highlight several intersecting dynamics. Trump's prolific social media activity, including allegations and provocative claims. FBI and federal operations at Fulton County election offices conducted under court authorization. ICE enforcement in multiple states, raising concerns about fairness, legality, and community impact. Public and political reactions, including declining approval ratings among Latino voters and criticism from lawmakers. Media amplification of dramatic narratives, which may distort perception of stability or crisis. For viewers, the key takeaway is to approach viral claims critically. Recognize the difference between statements, opinions, and legally verified actions. Understand that political strategy, media framing, and social media amplification can exaggerate or misrepresent reality. By focusing on verified events and context, citizens can navigate complex news cycles responsibly. While Trump's social media activity and enforcement operations are headline-grabbing, the legal system, oversight mechanisms, and civic processes remain in place. Court-authorized actions, public scrutiny, and institutional accountability continue to regulate political and law enforcement activity. Observing these dynamics is crucial for understanding both immediate events and long term implications for governance, civic trust, and public perception. Finally, this situation underscores the challenges of modern political communication. Social media enables instant, widespread dissemination of messages, but it also magnifies drama and confusion. Responsible engagement requires verification, context, and discernment. By separating fact from opinion and examining verified sources, citizens can participate in informed discussion, resist sensationalism, and understand the real consequences of political actions. In the coming weeks, monitoring the interaction between Trump, federal agencies, and public response will remain critical. Understanding the difference between provocative posts, lawful enforcement, and media amplification ensures a clearer perspective. The events of the past days are a case study in the complexity of modern politics, public perception, and the power of social media to shape narratives.